Well, hello, it's Troy Francis coming at you from London, golden hour in Chelsea, and I want to talk about whether or not men age like fine wine. Okay, this is something that gets talked about a lot online. You've got a lot of dudes in the male self-improvement space who bang on about, yeah, man, you know, you get to your 30s, 40s, that's when you hit your peak. And you get a lot of women and some other kind of white knight cuck kind of dudes who will refute that proposition and say, no, you don't. Actually, you're at your peak in your 20s and it's kind of game over as you get older. You know, you need to capitalize in the same way that you might say that a woman should capitalize on her beauty and so on when she's young in order to meet that right guy to get married to and settle down with. They will say it's the same for dudes, and actually most guys don't age like fine wine. So what is the truth of the matter? Well, as with everything, it's nuanced. As with everything, it kind of depends on the individual. Obviously, some dudes who are in their 30s and 40s do age incredibly well and actually get better as they age. I mean, myself, obviously, prime example of somebody who is aging absolutely like fine wine, like a very fine vintage from the vineyards of rural France. But, you know, I'm a bit of an exception, right? I'm not every dude who is my age is in the same kind of physical condition as me. Not every dude who's my age looks, you know, kind of aesthetically like I do, or dresses as well, or has the same sort of riz or whatever, right? I'm a little bit of an outlier, I suppose. I mean, obviously there are other guys I know who are similar age to me and older who do have all those things, but I also know a hell of a lot of dudes who absolutely don't. I mean, I will meet guys who are younger than me, so, you know, a couple of years younger than me, and they look worse, they look older, they're out of shape, they're fat, you know, they're whatever, right? So have those guys age like a fine wine? No, of course they haven't. But we have to be somewhat aspirational here, I think, okay? We have to be somewhat aspirational. You might say, all right, the average guy doesn't age particularly well. The average guy who's in his like late 30s, late 40s, 50s, whatever, you know, is not looking like, you know, as good as he did in his 20s. That is probably true. I don't have the data. If anyone's got the data, you know, link it below. But I can imagine that's probably true. But let's be honest about this. The average person, whether that's a man or a woman, the average person is a schlub anyway. All right? I mean, if you're basing yourself on the average, well, the average person sits on their couch and eats Cheetos and watches the game and drinks beer and gets fat and doesn't do any fucking exercise and works in a job that they don't like and gets married because all their friends did and then ends up getting cheated on and divorced a few years. I mean, the average person's life in general is shit, okay? So if you're comparing yourself against the average, well, yeah, obviously, you know, the reality probably is that the majority of dudes who reach their late 40s are not in particularly great shape and they're not dating, you know, these super hot, gorgeous young Instagram models or whatever it is. But so what? This isn't about all those other people. This is about you as an individual. And the message has to be, you absolutely can thrive as you get older. Now, I mean, just anecdotally from my own perspective, I think that I did blossom when I came into my 30s. I mean, my 20s, they were okay. I mean, I had quite a long-term girlfriend, then we broke up, and then I was kind of dating around and stuff, and, you know, I was doing pretty well at that. I then moved back to London where we are now, and I learned a little bit more about, you know, the structure of this stuff, you know, the social dynamics and so on, and it was a much bigger population, so I was able to go out there and really practice those new skills, and, you know, my dating life sort of rose exponentially. But I also think, when I hit my 30s, I think that I looked better. You know, I started to look probably more masculine. I mean, I always looked quite young for my age. I was quite baby-faced when I was in my 20s. When I got into my 30s, it started to be a little bit more defined, just a little bit more rugged, a little bit more masculine. Also, you know, I was earning more money. I had my own place. You know, it was just, I started to wear like better clothes. I was wearing suits. I was wearing some custom-made stuff and things like that. And yeah, you know, my value had increased. That's the reality for me. I'm not saying it is for everybody, but that's how it was for me. The other big thing I think that's made a huge difference in my life is that I stopped drinking alcohol when I was 27, 28. So I think, you know, people will sometimes say to me, you look younger than you are, which is a very nice compliment. I think a lot of that is down to the fact that, you know, I basically haven't drunk for 20 years. Right? If I'd have been drinking for 20 years, that would have undoubtedly taken its toll. I also gave up smoking at around the same time. Now, recently, very stupidly, I kind of picked up the old fags again. We call them in England, we say cigarettes, fags, Harry rags. I picked up the old Harry Rags again, and I've been smoking a little bit more, but I put that down again now, because with the training that I'm doing currently, I just, your cardio just goes to hell. But the point is, I think those two things were really helpful. So not drinking, not smoking, and quite frankly, because I didn't get married and I didn't get into, all that kind of situation, I probably had maybe less stress, I don't know, than the average dude who's my age. So there's been a few sort of mitigating factors for me, but anyway, like I say, the point is, when you get these naysayers on, say, Twitter or X or whatever we call it now, who are kind of like, yeah man, forget it, these guys they're selling you a dream. When you hit your 30s and 40s, it's not easier, it gets harder, you're gonna get left on the shelf, man. That is probably true for the average person. And you know what the answer is? Don't be the average person, okay? Don't be the fucking average person, because being the average person is shit anyway. It's because being the average person is just crap anyway, regardless. So don't be the fucking average person. Because look, myself, I travel around, I will date, I have a good time, I get to sort of, my time is my own, I kind of get to do what I want. Obviously, I have a business, I have a couple of businesses, I work on creative projects, I have a good time, right? And also, as I say, that you've got the dating stuff, I've also got obviously friendships in, a lot of friends in London, but friends in different parts of the world, and, I have a pretty good time. And it's absolutely doable, but not just my experience. I mean, I know dudes older than me, I know dudes in their 50s and then even into their 60s, who are also living lives of the same kind. They're dating around, they're meeting interesting, cool women that they really sort of have a good vibe with. They're enjoying their time with them. They're also traveling. They're working on pursuits and things that they really like. Like I work with one guy and he's really into like hiking and stuff like that. So he'll travel to different countries. He'll date a little bit, but he'll also do the pursuits that he likes to do. He'll go for long hikes, long walks. He'll go and visit like places of historical interest. Great life, right? It's a great life. And this is a dude in his 60s, for God's sake. We've had several clients actually in their 60s. And those guys, in the dating side of things, have been some of the most successful clients that we've taught. I mean, it's mind-blowing, but it's true. So again, you've got to think about it. Don't think about it from the point of view of the average, because the average person is screwed anyway, because the average person's an idiot. So just don't be average. Think about the fundamentals. Okay, am I in shape? Am I drinking too much? Am I smoking too much? Am I taking too many recreational drugs? Am I doing stupid stuff that is going to lower my market value as I continue? There's also, of course, other things that you can do cosmetically to sort of improve the way that you look. There's Botox is one of them, fillers. I mean, there's a whole range of different things. There are, hair transplant solutions that you can get for that. So many different things that you can do. The other thing is your style. Is your style any good? I mean, I'm not looking great today because I've just been training, but, generally speaking, I'm suited and booted. What's your style like? If your style's not very good, you can get that sorted. You can have a consultation with Jack, who's our tailor in London, who we work with. He offers free online consultations and there are various packages that he has. He can get you sorted out with a whole new wardrobe of amazing tailor-made clothes, okay? And, at pretty reasonable prices. So have you got that side dialed in? Are you living an interesting life? Are you doing pursuits that you're passionate about? And fundamentally as well, we talked about this before, what is the basic structure of your life? Are you doing a dead-end, soul-destroying, Kafkaesque sort of office job where you're pushing paper around and getting called into pointless meetings and you kind of want to kill yourself every day? If you are, then forget about the dating stuff. That's obviously suboptimal anyway, right? You need to get that sorted out because it's just having this massively detrimental effect on your life and on your soul, quite frankly. This is about the soul, okay? Whereas, if the fundamentals of your life are out of alignment, that is going to pay a toll on you. And I would conjecture it's going to pay a mental toll, but it's also going to pay a physical toll as well, okay? This is why, people start to, this is why people end up drinking a lot. I mean, I remember I was at a concert recently and I was with a friend and we were at this Depeche Mode concert. And my friend, met up with or saw a couple of people that he knew in the crowd, and one of them I'd vaguely known from years ago as well because we worked in a similar kind of industry. And I have to say, I mean, this dude, and probably not a lot older than me, maybe a few years older than me, this dude, man, he was not looking in good shape. He was not looking in good shape. Overweight, saggy kind of face, red face, too much drink. kind of the hair was going, shitty fashion, you know, cargo shorts, the whole lot. And it, you know, is that guy going to be acing it on the international dating marketplace? Is that guy going to be in Miami, you know, on Fresh and Fit, surrounded by Instagram girls, making a hit? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But again, you know, that is as a result partly of the lifestyle choices that that dude has made, okay? This stuff is within our control to some extent. To some extent. I accept, of course we get older, sometimes maybe we get grey hair or something like that. Whatever, you know, in the end, we're all dead men walking, okay? But there are choices that you can make in order to mitigate some of this stuff and at least slow down the aging process. The other thing that I would say as well is that, in my experience, as you start to get a bit older, actually, the relative importance of the dating stuff starts to reduce in comparison with other things. So I've made jokey things on Twitter saying stuff like, you know, when guys get older, it's not about girls anymore, it's about nice hotels, cigars, custom-made clothing and litigation, okay, which is kind of a joke, but there is some truth in that. You know, your focus does start to go off of the dating stuff a little bit, and it starts to go more onto other stuff. So like, for example, I wrote a novel earlier this year, and I was kind of shut away for several months, really just working on that and doing some other bits and pieces as well. Not really dating. I mean, like, and I'm very proud of the fact that I managed to do that piece of work. For me, that is more important than whether I was out and about dating some random woman or not, okay? So, and that's a blessing. That's one of the blessings of getting a bit older. It starts to assume, you sort of sit there, if you're 27, you're sitting there thinking, oh my God, but when I'm 55, you know, will I still be able to go to the Cancun foam party and pull those hotties? And the truth is, you probably won't want to, all right? And that's a good thing. That is a good thing. You will probably still want to date. You'll probably still want to have sex, okay? But it's going to be much more scaled down, all right? Much more manageable. As I say, I know guys who are sort of in their 60s who are living a similar kind of lifestyle to what I am, but it is slowed down. It is more considered. You know, they'll date a woman, but maybe they'll go on a trip with her. They'll go away for a week together. They'll go to some nice hotel. They'll spend a really cool time together. Then they'll go their separate ways for a while, and then meet up somewhere else. And it's not like this guy is running around in the club every night or anything like that. He doesn't want to. He's got other things to do. You know, so things do change as you get older, but you can absolutely hold on to your market value, and in some cases even increase it as you get older. It's a myth to say that you can't, and you can't look at the averages, because, as I say, the average person is a schlub anyway, all right? The average person is probably a schlub when he's 28, let alone when he's 58. So don't pay any attention to that. Pay attention to yourself, okay? You're only running your own race. You're only in competition with yourself. So recognize that, yes, there are guys out there who look bloody great in their 40s and in their 50s and in their 60s, and figure out how to be one of those guys, okay? As always with this stuff, the answer simply is don't be average. Don't be the average dude. Easier said than done, I know, but it is absolutely doable. Anyway, with that being said, we're gonna cut it off now, but please do subscribe to the channel, hit that notifications bell for new videos, because God knows I'm probably shadow banned in some very draconian way across the whole platform. If you want to jump on a free coaching call with me, you absolutely can. There's a link below. And yeah, put some comments, give me a like, give me a dislike, whatever you want to do. And I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye-bye.